Definitely an inspiring human. I'm happy he's free. I believe that he is sincerely a good person. Someone needs to make a movie about this man. This man's energy jumps out at you. I'm certain this person is incredible. His words are concise and subdued yet describe a horrific experience. His calm demeanor lends authenticity to his testimony. Wow, just wow, there are some real special humans out there. This dude is one of them. These are just some of the wonderful comments left by viewers of Michael Thompson's YouTube debut interview. Guaranteed launching Thompson's celebrity snitch influencer's career on YouTube. Yes, Raza, today's outlaw, we react to the recent interview of celebrity snitch and con man cult leader Michael Thompson, former Aryan Brotherhood. The man Wes Watson is inspired by, and Powder's deadly hands can't beat in combat. Whose native shaman, shape-shifting abilities allow him to defeat entire regiments of Nuestra Familia, Black Panthers, BGF, Mexican Mafia, and get shot 20 times, from high-powered rifles, and not require hospital treatment if that's even humanly possible. But, then again, Mike Thompson is God, right? Who turns water into prison wine, and splits Yogi Pinel's bodyguard's head open, to explore the scientific possibilities of the human brain while making Charles Manson his bitch, and Joe Morgan shine his shoes. Because everyone bows to Thompson.
Went to San Quentin, went to the hole there. I almost immediately got into it with the Mexican Mafia. And so one day the side door to the Catholic chapel busted open, and 7 guys with knives come out to kill me. And once I had dispatched them, so I was in total there at Folsom probably at least 20 knife fights, and I was shot 20 times, and they were coming up the stairs. So as they made the turn on the 2nd tier to come up to the 3rd tier, I swung over the banister down to the 2nd tier and came up from behind them. And when I encountered 2 went into my cell, and the last 2 that were still attempting to go into my cell, I threw them off the tier. And then I went into the cell and dispatched the 2 in there. 3 steps into the yard, and he had his in his hand. And so I got up, and we commenced to fight. And at one point, when he realized that he was losing the knife fight, he decided to run.
The New Age prison snitch hippie guru Thompson, whose cognitive behavioral and trauma-based therapy techniques, combined with social media, will accomplish what Manson dreamed about: indoctrinating naive prison channel fanboy groupies all over the world to worship Thompson and his new non-profit cult. Live long and prosper.
Live long, Tipau, and prosper.
Live long and prosper, Spock.
I shall do neither. I have killed my captain and my friend.
Thompson must have watched a lot of Star Trek while in the THU unit at Corcoran. The motherfucker names his cult after a gang signed Trekkies through at Comic-Con and Star Trek conventions. It's hilarious, but, on the real homies, the outlaw doesn't intend to clown on Thompson the entire show. We plan on dropping some real klecha on the real Mike Thompson, not the one CDCR has him pretending to be, like Mundo Mendoza's fake religious persona. Thompson is one of California prison's biggest liars, manipulator, and con man, and that's according to prison staff, not inmates. Thompson is the perfect example of how CDCR uses celebrity snitches to sell a false narrative and brainwash the unsuspecting public. By using the media, and now YouTube, how they cover up the truth about Thompson, other celebrity snitches, and snitch tubers. In order to sell you a likable, fake persona. Thompson is likable. That's how Thompson cons and manipulates his victims. Thompson is nothing more than the modern version of Charles Manson. Thompson even tries to resemble Manson. Did you cyber cholos know Manson was to his followers a friendly-speaking, song-singing, worldly philosopher who spoke of self-enlightenment and curing the world of evil. Many conspiracy theorists allege Manson was programmed in prison to recruit and run a cult of nut-job sluts. Now, it's interesting to find out Thompson was in the same behavioral modification unit as Manson. Juan Corona and Sirhan, all three inmates, are known in conspiracy circles to be victims of government mind control. All three were housed in Vacaville Medical Facilities, Lister Unit, with Mundo Mendoza in the early 70s. Thompson even stole Manson's girls, who wanted him to help form a hippie cult. A cult of psycho, satanic, snitch sluts.
Actually, when I was leader of the Aryan Brotherhood, I took his girls from him.
Really?
They wanted to start a commune,
Mm.
and my studies at that time were in biology.
Yeah.
Yes, Raza, most of Manson's girls were police provocateurs. Even Maria Crystal Alonzo, Joe Morgan's Manson's girl, was an undercover provocateur, but the outlaw will cover that when we do a Joe Morgan profile. Today's old Big Mike Thompson, the Moses of the California prison system, and his convict cult that enlightens you by taking you on a spiritual journey to THAP Mountain Research Center to be brainwashed into a sweet, soft-spoken, right-wing conservative who loves Trump, hates BLM, the End to Hostilities Agreement, and against defunding police. Just like the rest of the prison YouTube community is doing to its viewers. Except, Thompson's con man skills and television celebrity snitch status gives Thompson the upper hand on indoctrinating prison fanboys and groupies over the rest of the prison snitch gurus on YouTube. Even Wes Watson, the outlaw, knows you vatos in Vadoland think what we're dropping is some wild crazy conspiracy. But this has already happened before. Self-proclaimed Minister Jim Jones, who ran a self-help church cult of majority ex-Vacaville prisoners and Northern California mental hospital patients, who were granted parole or discharge if they lived and participated in Jim Jones's church cult. That's until Jim Jones ordered his followers to murder Congressman Leo Ryan and his staff, then committing what the outlaw believes is the largest known mass suicide ever, for interfering in Jim Jones' brainwashing program. You vatos should know that Congressman Leo Ryan was led to investigate Jim Jones and his temple cult only because Ryan became aware of Jones's brainwashing cult while investigating mind control experiments allegations conducted on Vacaville Medical Facility prisoners. Just like Thompson, Jim Jones had financial support, public approval of local law enforcement, government, local media, and even CDCR. Jim Jones was in some partnership with CDCR to run, operate, and house recently paroled mental health prisoners in halfway houses owned by Jones's brainwashing cult church. Didn't Thompson say he's currently working with CDCR to operate his cult inside prisons and to help prisoners? Thompson even has his wife running his non-profit cult. Thompson's wife is a piece of work, just like Thompson. Thompson and his wife are the real-life Mickey and Mallory Knox from the Natural Born Killers movie. Now Raza, did any of you vatos notice Thompson spent very little time and gave no real details, names, dates, and location of his murder conviction, which put him in prison in 1975. Thompson details extremely well and at length, giving names, locations, and crimes when discussing other individuals, and Thompson's Marvel comic legendary battle royals that no other celebrity snitches have ever mentioned before. But don't worry, Big JD from Prison Break Raw will make a video soon, claiming how he Big JD, his buddies Powder, and Jeremy Bowles were on a prison yard together and saw Thompson single-handedly beat up every gang member on the yard. But only after bitch slapping the warden, dispatching the COs, and discovering life on Mars. Thompson is such a manipulator that he's able to quietly and quickly sidestep telling the real story that put him in prison, and the role his wife played before and after the murders Thompson was arrested for. Raza, CDCR news media, and television documentaries have intentionally helped cover up and avoid disclosing why Mike Thompson was arrested for. And it's a much bigger and hands-on role than Thompson claims on his debut interview. Apparently, Thompson was having an affair with one of the murder victim's wives. Thompson's co-defendant testified Thompson, who was married to another woman, wanted to marry the other woman he was having an affair with, according to witness testimony and newspaper articles. Thompson, who was working for back then Orange County's biggest marijuana kingpins and drug organization, the Solis brothers John and Luis Solis, it's never made clear just how involved Thompson was with the drug organization. But it's said that Thompson had some role in the drug day-to-day operations. Remember, Thompson said he was a square and not involved in any illegal activities during his interview.
Were you involved in any criminal organizations or any other type of criminal lifestyle before that situation occurred where you were convicted of that plethora of charges?
No, I'm the quintessential square.
Straight lie is what it is. His co-defendant claims Thompson decided to make up the story to low-level drug dealers want to rob and kidnap one of the Solis brothers' family. One of the drug dealers happened to be the then husband of the woman Thompson wanted to marry. According to news articles and court statements, no actual evidence showed any real plot or attempt to kidnap anyone's family, like Thompson claims when telling his story. Notice Thompson's story of doing the right thing, trying to prevent a crime, is very similar to Thompson's story of why he decided to flip and debrief. Someone's family was in danger, and Thompson had to help and do the right thing. The outlaw wonders how Mike Thompson even was able to join the Aryan Brotherhood. By Thompson's own words, he's a rat. As early as Thompson entering prison, he claims he was a rat. Thompson states in his interview that Thompson believed if he just told the truth in court everything would be okay, and found innocent. Okay, Reza, it's critical thinking beanie time Vatos. Telling the truth would require Thompson to tell the courts Thompson told his kingpin drug dealing bosses about the robbery and kidnap plot from 2 street dealers and how they killed them and then buried the 2 drug dealers behind Thompson's house without Thompson finding out till later. That's the fairy tale Thompson tells, and telling the truth meant Thompson ratted on everybody. A good interrogator knows he is being lied to by a suspect, like Mike Joe Dirt Thompson does to the public. But the interrogator knows to let the suspect keep lying, because eventually the suspect will start to use parts of the truth to make up his lies. And that's what Thompson and the rest of the celebrity snitches do. But back to Mother Thompson's fairy tale. I think he said he dispatched Godzilla at Folsom with his arms tied behind his back and blindfolded. Wow, Thompson must be Jesus. Kano Vatos, according to Thompson's co-defendant, who testified against the group, claims Thompson and the co-defendant lured the 2 supposed kidnappers to a location. Then apparently Thompson beat one of them nearly dead before shooting him. It's not clear who killed the second man in the end. Marvel comic book super convict Mike Thompson was the only one of the group to be convicted on 2 first-degree murder charges, while the rest of the Vatos received second-degree murder conviction. Maybe it's for being the instigator who manipulated the others to commit the murders, while Thompson was the only one who was benefiting from the murders.
Did everybody get convicted, or they made you the scapegoat?
Everyone did get convicted. I was, however, the only one that was convicted of all counts. No one ever said that I killed anyone. No one ever said that I did anything other than what I said I had done.
Thompson ran off with the murder victim's wife, took their kids, then married the woman, and was in process of adopting the murder victim's children. Thompson's sick and twisted wife sat quietly in court supporting Thompson on the murder of her dead husband. Talk about a trailer park trash love story. It's said Thompson's wife knew and encouraged the murder of her husband so she could marry Thompson. Now, tell me that's not an important part of Thompson's life story. But never tells anybody the story The true story. Oh wait, that's not the end of the saga of the legend of Joe Dirt Thompson. Oh no, turns out one of Thompson's very first cases, as a government-paid liar informant, resulted in a full acquittal of an alleged Aryan Brotherhood associate by the name Joseph Michael O'Rourke. Apparently the jury didn't find the prosecution's star witnesses credible. The two were Thompson and the alleged AB member Stephen Barnes, whose father was killed, making Thompson debrief. The two were looked at by the jury as low-life con men, and there it is Miraza, who Mike Thompson really is. Now, the outlaw knows there's people that are going to say, you're a hater, clout chasing, or trying to profit off someone else's fame. Does the outlaw's hate make mass media manipulate Thompson's persona to mislead viewers? No, the outlaw doesn't clout chase. We expose SnitchTube influencers. We know our channel will never be as large as the SnitchTuber community. Fame is what law enforcement used to attract prospect informants to debrief. Mass media only glorify, and social media influencers only promote snitches. That's why so-called solid OGs like American Cholos Gil, Prison Break Roz JD, Splinter from POV, and other so-called active YouTubers promote the biggest SnitchTuber channel. Stories written by a current lying SNY prisoner. Wasn't Pari Young interviewed on this SNY-only channel? Those who think it's over making YouTube money, the Outlaw is not a monetized channel. It never will be, nor will we shove viewers our link for viewers to give us money. Any Vato offering Klecha, or his time, with the intentions of getting something in return, isn't dropping real Klecha, and should not be trusted. The people who truly had your best interest in life, and gave you Klecha, your mother, father, grandparents, close loved one, or a real friend, again a real friend, ever ask you for money, or to buy something from them in order to get Klecha, you know what it is. Stay suited and booted for another banger from the Outlaw News. The voice of the barrio, the voice of the Vato Loco. Venceremos.